I think that your special project is going to be the highlight of today, but we've also got some fun AI updates and a robot that looks way too realistic. So
All
let's
right, let's
jump
hit it.
in.
Do you have much to talk about today? What are your updates?
My updates, I have the robot thing that you sent me, bro. That is my update.
Dude, that's been sitting on my
It's
list for a couple weeks.
terrifying.
Oh yeah?
Really?
I didn't even
It's
look into it. I was just like,
scary.
ooh.
Oh yeah? Oh goodness me. Because I knew about the wheeled ones, but their new one is it looks like a human in a suit. Like I guess I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting ahead of myself. I feel like I should show or talk about what I'm talking about. Um, 1X is this company that's based in US and in Norway, and they're building these humanoid robots. So they've had one out for a while called Eve that is it, it's got the head and the friendly face on the screen and arms and everything, but then at the bottom it just goes like this, and then the bottom of it looks like what is it called, bro? Segway, right?
Uh,
That's what
sure.
it's called. Okay, cool. Anyway,
Weird.
so that's it's a like a top half looks like a human. So they've got these nice friendly faces, which is so great to me because like look at this guy. Like, can you see how friendly he looks?
Mm-hmm.
Or she, Eve, girl name? Nah,
It?
probably
I don't know.
she. It, I don't know. But it's a nice little friendly robot. Yeah. So apparently, they've been out for a while doing stuff not particularly designed for home use, as far as I'm understanding, more factories, assembly lines, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, is what I'm understanding. I could be messing this up, but yeah. So basically, they've been using Eve to go out and learn a whole bunch about when people give commands, and so that you don't have to be as specific. Like a lot of voice commands, I feel like, besides the ones that are getting good, like ChatGPT and more conversational. Basically, that's the goal, right? Where instead of having to say it in the exact order of what you want to give the proper command, like you can just say, "Hey, can you grab me that?" and it'll understand. You know what I mean? Like having it
It'll ask
be more
questions
in
back
tune.
and you can respond.
Um,
Further
I
clarify.
it'll at least understand. It probably does, but it at least will understand more of that just
Hmm.
typical conversation lingo. I don't know if the new one talks. I don't know. But anyways, so then now they're using that information to build their new one, which is called Neo, Neo. And it's in development. It's not quite out yet, but this one is designed for home use, and it is crazy. Just crazy looking. So you remember that friendly face of the last one? I want to
Mm-hmm.
show you what this dude's face looks like. Do you remember the TV show Lost in Space?
Yes.
Yeah, this is what I'm zooming in, so it's kind of awkward, but this is what this guy looks like. Like no more smiles,
Sure.
just audio. Maybe it has a face sometimes, but none of the marketing stuff shows. It just shows it like
Yeah.
that. But what's crazy is this is what it looks like, bro. It looks like a
Literally looks like
person
a
in
man
a
in a suit.
suit.
That'd be
I
hilarious if
love
this
it.
was actually all a scam where they actually just showed you a dude in a suit and he
I
had to pretend
want
to be
it
a
to
robot.
be. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, because that's what it looks like. Like the intro video for the announcement and everything. It was doing like the waving and it did a little gesture like, come over here and pose in the picture with me. And everything it did, like it's got, five fingers. I love we were just talking about how I think we were talking to Dad about this, right? About how they're figuring out that like lo and behold, the best function to design these things is with how the human body
Mm-hmm.
functions, right?
It's crazy.
There's an amazing design somehow. And so they're making it more and more human. So this one is, it does have two legs, walks around like a person,
Wow.
kind of crazy. And it's supposed to be able to just, yeah, understand what you want and take care of it quickly. It's supposed to just be, it's like getting to the point. It's not it's not like personal assistant level yet, but it's still helpful. Supposed to, it can jog. I just read that. That's kind of
Wow.
terrifying. They can walk, jog, climb stairs, navigate space naturally. They've been training it in spaces that seem like human homes and stuff. So
Sure.
just like any other AI thing, the more it does, the more it learns and the better it gets,
Sure.
which
I
is
feel like this is the kind of
interesting.
thing that will be maybe one of the first use cases of it will be in like elderly homes and stuff where you don't want to go to your nursing home yet, but you can buy a robot that'll help you lift heavy things or grab your walker for you to get out of bed and stuff. For any old person that's actually willing to give robots a try.
Hmm.
Because that would
I
be, those are
guess.
like
Just
simpler
don't tell
things
him
that
it's
it's
a
like you can
robot.
do.
Tell him it's a weird dude in a suit.
I don't think that's better.
Maybe
Uh,
not.
but then you can do like your normal tasks, but anything that's harder, like lifting heavy things or maybe even
Yeah,
driving you places, because I mean, you could get a self-driving car too. Then,
it can't lift a person yet.
well, no, not
So
lift
like if it
you.
was, I
I just
know,
meant
but if that might be in the future, it can lift up to 44 pounds, it says.
hmm, that's a
Yeah,
Costco load.
sure. Yeah, that's two of my child. So
Well,
it's really interesting. And
hmm,
they talk about how safe it is and all of that stuff, of course, too. Because if you're going to design a robot that looks
of course.
absolutely terrifying,
I
you
don't
got
know.
to make
I
sure
this
that,
is one of the first ones that I saw that I was like, I want one. I want to try this out.
yeah,
It's like other ones that
all
are
right.
like cute and little on the ground. I'm like, okay, I'll take one of those. It's like
No,
fun.
exactly.
It'll bump me. It's like fun, but it's like it can't do much. This is the first
It's
one that
not
I'm like,
supposed to be like those. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Be interesting. Be fun to test it.
I keep
Cool.
just showing my phone, which is probably pretty lame.
It works. Did you look into Llama 3.2 at all?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I didn't either. I just saw that it was out and it offers voice features and other updates so that you can do more with voice. So trying to catch up with OpenAI, but no one can because
Oh yeah,
GPT
OpenAI backs this, by the way.
4001 is crazy. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah, well, I mean, that means that they'll
involved.
advance in the voice thing very fast.
Yep, sure. Here, I want to show you this. This is, I'll just play it on mute, but just so you can see like a little bit of how he moves.
Bro, it looks like a wonky guy in a suit.
Like this was an actor, 100%.
Am I real? What have I
That's
become?
literally what he's thinking.
Meet your new husband.
Ugh. Anyways, yep, there you go.
Creepy.
Crazy. Back to you.
Give it a gun and see what it does with it.
Why? I mean, but yeah, also just the whole like going from the nice, smiling, partially immobile one
Yeah,
to the not smiling one. I'm like, classic. That's such a movie
I
thing.
really hope that the whole I mean, it's already probably like a thing somewhere, but I really hope that the whole Big Hero 6 robot fights becomes a real thing.
The illegal bot fighting.
hmm Which I mean, it was
Mm.
illegal in there. I'm like, I don't know, gambling, I guess, can be illegal, but I think that's just a fun idea. Is to create robots that are literally, they can probably be
Those
smaller.
were,
There's probably rules, but you know, that
but
way
in Big
people
Hero
aren't
6,
fighting.
they weren't AI powered. We were
It's true.
controlling it.
But there was Baymax and he was, so
Okay, fair enough. But he
he was
didn't
a
fight
fighting robot.
anybody.
Are you
Actually, you're
joking?
right. He did. Oh my gosh, have I never seen the movie? Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah, good
shush.
times, good times.
Anyway, um, cool. You see the Meta Orion glasses?
No,
So
I
they
mean, I
came out.
saw something about him, but I didn't look
Well,
into
yeah.
them.
Well, yeah, no, Zuckerberg shared them and they're like crazy expensive. They want to make them thinner. They want to make the display brighter or, better quality and they want to make them cheaper, more affordable. So they aren't actually rolling out yet, but they made like 1,000 prototypes. So it does exist. And they're very cool because unlike the Apple Vision, they're unlike the Snapchat spectacles, which are super thick and stupid looking. I think they're stupid. They're a lot thinner. So even though they're still like a thicker frame, they look like nerd glasses maybe, but they're glasses. And on top of that, unlike Vision, they don't need cameras and the Quest. They don't need cameras on the front to see the world to recreate it in your eyes for augmented reality, you know? They recreate the world with the stuff inside. Like that's how both of those work.
Yeah, right.
So they have
Yeah.
cameras on the outside. But instead they're glasses that actually you can see through them, so you can see the world and they'll display things on the screen to make it so that you can see the augmented things in front of you and they
Oh, cool.
utilize hand gestures and eye gestures of where you're looking, all the stuff that Apple kind of was the first big step forward as far as like the hand tapping and different things to control everything. And voice, of course, to speech to text. But yeah, they had a bunch of people try them out. One of the people in the ad was Gary Vee, and I was like, it's Gary Vaynerchuk.
Nice.
But pretty cool. So it'll probably be another, half a year or year before they release them, and then it's like probably still decently expensive, but I think I think that'll be fun because that's true augmented reality. You're not putting a chip in your head. You're not going fully. behind a screen. You are actually just seeing the world
Yeah.
and it's putting things in there. And that's something that's portable. That's something that I feel like could actually replace a phone. I was watching All In and they were
Mm.
talking about this kind of tech. I think it was Chamath that thinks that we haven't gotten to be able to, we haven't seen what will be the new innovation. Like we haven't seen what will be the new phone, but we're getting closer in technology. And it might be something along the lines of the glasses where it's maybe even still a phone, something that you hold, but it's just a screen and you use eyes to look at it, hand gestures to see things. I mean, with the glasses specifically, you can actually see the augmented reality in front of you. So you can see a notification come in and like they showed in the ad, they showed a little notification come in the side while you're talking to someone and you can just like respond to it or clear it really quickly to like with your hand below. It can like register that as you just kind of like clear it to the side and you don't even have to pull out your phone to check. And so it's supposed to, I can see it two ways where it puts you even more into technology while you're in the real world. Suddenly you're still seeing notifications and stuff. You can't get away from it. But I also see it being used, and I would like to use it to get away from technology where I don't have to keep checking my phone and keep pulling out my phone to see notifications, but instead I can just clear them really easily without having to like continue to pick up phone and see and then put it down. This action instead it just pops up and I can clear it away. So, and you can of course probably still turn on levels versions of do not disturb and focus
Yeah.
mode and stuff
Yeah.
like that to just not have those go period. But that's what it showed was that like you can turn on focus mode or a variation of that. It was like turn on that, but then you get a text from, a family member, someone that gets to bypass that and you see it come in anyway. And that if it's an emergency, you'll see it right away and you don't have to at all be worrying about checking your phone. But also, of course, games that you can do with someone else with the spectacles. You're throwing around a ball that doesn't exist and stuff, but much more portable. And so if they work on the battery, the display, all the other things, they were very impressive. And of course, use AI technology as well to make them extra enhanced. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see
Interesting.
those prototypes, but they're making quick progress on those. Any comments, questions? I got another update.
Comments, questions. I don't know. That sounds cool.
Great
Again, the
comment.
whole not being a screen in front of your eyes as much, at least I like that.
I
Being
do too.
more, yeah,
Yeah. And also
being
we're just
actually
we're
transparent.
we're getting a lot better at the AI agents too. So as far as being able to say, "Hey, I need to get from this part of the city to this part of the city, find something that's cheap for me," and then it'll go into the app, it'll look at all the rides available, it'll find one that's cheaper and send it your way, and just tell you, "Okay, cool. Your estimated arrival of the car is 10 minutes," or something like that. But you don't have to look at your phone, open up the app, sort through, and find them. It's just these little things that will take you away from it that you can either increase efficiency and productivity, or you can actually take moments to be in the real world because your little agent is doing the work for you. So
Hmm.
we're, I feel like AI is going to be a technology that overall actually tries to get us off of our screens more and keeps us away from technology because it can do it for us.
Yeah,
It's a little technology bot that'll go in and do anything online that we need to do. And all we have to do is describe what we want and then it can do it for us. So I think it's cool.
that would be cool.
Mhm. Also, iPhone, iOS, I don't iOS 18.1.2, all the AI updates that are coming have been announced to basically roll out over 6 to 7 months in segments. So
Hmm.
probably like next month I will get, as in October, so maybe, soon because it's the last day of the month, but I will get some of the features. I will get some of the, I don't know, email summaries and some things like that. Not a ton, some of the smaller stuff. Then you get the Siri UI, and then later you get the actual Siri being helpful and so but it's about 6 to 7 months of like 3 or 4 rollouts every couple months that will actually get the AI features. So it's funny to do it that way, to be selling this phone on the promise of it was built for AI, but not having any AI on it for the average customer. But it's cool to know their rollout plan. So be following up with that whenever I get the updates. That'll be interesting for sure.
Nice.
It's not AI, but I'm getting a
Okay.
new keyboard and mouse and I'm excited for that because I haven't
Ooh.
bothered to do that because my laptop's fresh and I love it. And I used to work 3 out of the 5 weekdays in offices, so I'd be moving around. But now that I'm working from this desk every day, and I have the monitor set up and everything, I thought it'd be fun to invest in a decent mouse and keyboard. And on top of that, I have a more powerful laptop. So I got Minecraft recently, and it actually runs pretty well on my laptop, which is nice. My laptop heats up a fair amount, but otherwise it works great. So I'm thinking about getting other games and just being able to edit videos, work, game, and I using my laptop almost every single day of the week. It'll be nice to have some easier access, because the other thing is I like having my screen about this far away from me, but this is like I can't touch the screen. So to have
Yeah.
a keyboard in front of me and not have to slouch to reach the keyboard or have the laptop close, it will be nice as well. So,
Nice.
okay, now for the bulk content of our podcast. ChatGPT o1 is insane. I know that I talked bad about it 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was like, okay, it's actually pretty cool. I built a Tetris game. So it's so good, but the main thing that I found that is so good about it is in coding. I love it. So I coded the Tetris game, and that was
Yeah.
fun. And I was like, okay, cool. And then this problem came up with one of my clients, the one that you know well, where a forum on our website was getting so much spam. In fact, it was a couple different
Mm,
forums. We're getting so much spam out of nowhere. And I think that we use the CRM tool Keep, and that tool like reset or something. And so it wasn't catching that spam anymore. And so I went into ChatGPT because I was like, I wonder if I could figure this out. And I was like, how do I catch spam? And it gave me some different options. And so I ended up doing a simple one where it's just like a checkbox that it says, I agree that I am an artificial being. And spam will check it because they'll be like, oh, I
check
agree.
a
It's a
box. Yeah.
checkbox and it says I agree. But you don't want other people to see that box because it looks stupid. So you want to add code to hide it. So I created the box
Hmm.
on the form, and then in the code, I threw it in ChatGPT, and I was like, hey, here's the situation. We don't want the person to see this box. We want spam to see it, so we just need to hide it from the page. And it was like, here's the code to add, and I was like, cool. And then but it didn't just say here's the code. It's like, here's the code, described what it did, wrote out the whole thing for me to copy and paste, and then said all the changes and suggested more methods below. And I'm like, whoa, okay, cool, sick. So I copied that code and it totally worked. And so I did that for all the forms. I'm over here like a marketer. I have no coding back. I mean, I do have coding background, but I took a couple classes and then quit that degree and started towards digital marketing instead. So I have basically no coding background, and yet I was able to code my way out of that problem. And I'm like, I'm a coding wizard. So I'm like telling the people, my coworkers, that I'm the best and a coding wizard, even though all I did was give my situation to ChatGPT and then copy what it told me to put in. But it was sick and I felt so good. So a couple days ago, I was like, okay, I've built a Tetris game, and I made a form and I made it work, and I stopped spam. And so I had this idea. I haven't I My problem is that there's a lot of cool tools, AI, my phone with the cameras and camera capabilities and different things that are so cool, but I don't have ideas of what to use them for. So I'm stuck with a ton of possibilities, but no ideas. And I thought of an idea, and in my brain, I called it, or the name of the idea was Click Fate. I ended up calling it CLIKFATE, so that it's slightly different worded, but it's click
Yeah.
fate instead of clickbait. But it's the exact same idea that you've seen, the boring button, the different things, where it's click fate. So you just click on a button and it takes you to a random site. And I was like,
Mm,
I wonder if I can code a website as simple as that with just ChatGPT, knowing what I know. But I'm like, it's only files on my computer, so I don't know exactly how to do that. So I might share a bit of the process, but this morning I created an entire website for my clickfade idea using just ChatGPT. So let's see. I'm thinking about how to start
dude,
this.
I've got a couple websites I want to build right now, so please show me the process
So cool.
because I started
So
and it's
I'm going
just
to show you the
yeah.
final product first.
Okay.
Boom. So this is clickfate. And see the fun shapes? See the
Wow.
see
They're
the fun
spinning.
font? It's glowing. I can
Ooh,
scroll. It was all a process to get here. But
I
and then
believe it.
yeah, it's just got my username, GitHub, and ClickFate. So it's welcome to ClickFate. And then here's the button. And there's only 5 links attached. And I can click on you to show. It'll open up a new thing. Oh, cool. We got Rickrolled right away. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, that's just an ad. But it takes you to right now just the YouTube homepage, YouTube Rickroll, it takes you to our podcast on YouTube,
All
because that's funny, and Wordle and cool math games. So that was all I came up with
right.
in the moment, but I could find another 100 links or something, and it'll do it at random. And every time you click on it, the shape of the button changes to morph in a different kind of weird way. So it was random. It was the ideas that I
Interesting.
was having, and I was able to make it all happen. So it's pretty fun. I'm in the middle. I got interrupted to start this podcast. It's all right, but I'm in the middle of trying to create a header that has different sections, because on top of ClickFate being the main place, the main, like the homepage, the place to go, I was thinking of, ClickFate. So that's basically anywhere of just online boredom. So I was going to create a page for little mini quizzes, and I was going to do another one of games, and I was going to have another one called like the click, where the second click is, 21 Pilots click. So you can, it's basically the about the
Ah,
click, or you can like join a newsletter or something like that, probably all optimized by AI, because why not? So it's just a bunch of different
wow.
ideas of just making this, but like I can change the font and stuff, but I love the little, old timey mystical vibe that ChatGPT helped me make. Um,
Nice.
but look, so this is the process.
Yeah.
I could show the actual code, but basically I asked it to make a website, and it just spit out this. This is its website. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, that's a website.
Awesome.
And also, this is all in a file. So after I created it, then I asked it to, I guess I could just go through the process. It was like this, and then I wanted to put in actual information. So then I got this, and it tried to change the button each time, but it ended up just kind of like moving it around the page instead of actually changing
Huh.
it. But it still looked good, and I was like, here's the problems, and fix it. And then for my next prompt, I asked it to put out a picture of what the output would look like. And it was cool because it put out a picture, but it was just an AI generated image of like a cool looking website with my text on it. It did not look like what
Yeah.
it was gonna make the website look like, but
Sure.
it put out this. And this is so
What?
cool. So like it says this all right, and then it tries to say it again and like fades off, and then the button looks a little weird. This says click to something, and then it says click to find your fate. It's weird, but it looks so cool. And so
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get it like that, but then I took this image and put it in with what it actually made my website look like, which is this, making the different shapes, but the font looked weird. And then through a couple different tries, I was able to make the website look closer to this, which is this. And so not the same, but still closer and still cool. And I
Yeah.
can, of course, keep going and keep trying to optimize it to make it even more like that or something similar. Um, and then is this just the same one? Yeah. And so that was like my final product, and it was cool. And then I wanted to be able to share it and have it as an actual link and not just three files on my
Yeah.
desktop, in a folder. And so then I was like, cool, I hope that, or maybe down the road, I'll figure out how to make it into an actual website. And it was like, oh, well, here's a bunch of free options. And I was like, okay. And the top one was GitHub. So I created an
Sure.
account, followed all the steps. I had to troubleshoot a couple things, but that's how I got the actual website itself. And so I'm currently working on coding in a few new pages so I can eventually add content to them. Obviously, I want to add a bunch of links to this, and I'll probably eventually change a bit of the layout, although I'm pretty happy with this, with what I started out with. But like the process of it giving me more than I want always. I realized that it was still making it a little bit too small. As much as it'll spit out so much of an output, it still isn't enough to truly give me like a crazy big website. So I had to be
Sure.
like, okay, analyze this picture with that picture, notice all the differences, and tell me all the differences. And I want you to see this.
Oh, nice.
Um, let's see if I can find that one pretty easily. Cosmic background. Oh yeah, here we go. Analysis and key differences. So it was like background and overall theme. The current state, a simple, slightly gray background with no distinct magical elements. Desired state, the magical image has a deep gray background, and it like says all the things.
Yeah.
Actions needed, boom. And then it did that with the font, with the button, with the paragraph, with the additional elements. And so then I was able to just be like, okay, now with all those changes that start with only the index file. And then it like rewrote the index file and made it a lot longer than it had been making it. And I was like, cool, now the CSS file. And it did that one. It made it a lot longer for all the style. And it said all the, changes that it made. And then I was like, cool, now the final script. And then it made that, and it made it again longer than it had because it could spend a little bit more time on each file individually. And that was what eventually created my website. And I only had to troubleshoot it one more time after that because it looked like this, and I had to make it so that it would make the page a little longer so that it could scroll and look better. But
Okay.
But yeah, so it was just this like fun. It was obviously some troubleshooting. It's building a website, but it's like troubleshooting as in I'm just like, okay, here's the broken part. Tell me how to fix that. Because
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know how to
totally.
troubleshoot it. So I'll just throw it back in ChatGPT and ask what's broken about it. And then GitHub was really easy and free to use to just set up my little website. And I could send out this link and anyone could use ClickFate. And so if I add more pages and more fun things to do on the website, then other people can use it. So I don't know how much I'll use it. I don't know if our listeners, if our viewers will ever see ClickFate again, but it might come back because this is a fun project for me to work on that probably doesn't have a promise of ever making money or anything like that. But as far as making a little site of mini games and quizzes and the main button that slowly gets more and more links to random places that are fun. And it's very easy to update the code. I just copy and paste the code in of like, here's where the code's at. Tell me what to edit or add to make this change or to make that change. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's cool, but O1 is insane. And I then sent this website to our younger sister as well as my dad and Aaron because I was like, dude, check out my website. And my
Nice.
dad was like, anyone who's not using AI to build websites and stuff is just, is gonna fall so behind because of how much you can do with it now. So good at coding. So I recommend using it. I recommend literally just starting writing some code, figuring out how to, create the files and then maybe the GitHub stuff. And as soon as you do that, then it's just suddenly like, whoa, the things I could do with this. I mean, like I could just as easily, super easily create a website for my business as well and stuff.
Sure.
So
Yeah, totally.
super cool. All right, that's all I've got. And then also thank the listeners.
Thank you, listeners.
Bye.